So, in our last episode of Star Wreck Dysentery, whoops, I mean STD, in a desperate attempt to wake up the audience for the final minutes of their finale, the Enterprise encountered the Starship Discovery. The Enterprise under the command of legendary Captain Pike. Yes. Oh, yeah, what a way to end, huh? Better get ready for next season. So, yeah, that was thrown in there at the last minute, slapped on 11th hour when they knew they were in trouble, because that was not how that series was supposed to end its first season. But there you go. And so now all the excitement for the trailers showing that Captain Pike will take command of the Discovery onto a mission in the search for Spock. Whom they will find. They already showed that, and he's emo Spock, they're calling it, which is odd. How can he be emo when he's a Vulcan? But hipster Spock, I don't know. He's in black jammies, and his beard's grown out, and he smirks, and Captain Pike's all surprised, and Captain Pike's kind of happy, smiling, and kind of joking around. He's not Captain Kirk, but these people wouldn't know that. They don't know jack squat about Star Trek. They seem to know stuff about Dune and some Star Wars, but Star Trek, no, not so much. So that will be the mysterious plot of some mysterious entity known as the Red Angel. And Spock, I have to say, meanwhile, the original plot that was supposed to happen concerned the evil Empress from the Mirror Universe being hired as a secret agent for Starfleet's Section 31. And what was it? I think Mecha Random on YouTube said that she's literally Space Hitler. So, yeah, it's like, hey, Hitler, you're good at killing and lying. You want a job? And that's pretty much what they did. So in a way, it's probably for the best that they realized they needed to bring in more of the actual Star Trek universe into their Star Trek show and do all this. But the problem here is, of course, they're going to get it wrong. Look, the yellow shirts and blue shirts and red shirts and all that. But no, it's not the same. It doesn't look like the uniforms that Captain Pike and crew wore. In fact, there were no red shirts in the Captain Pike era and all that sort of thing. And they're just basically the same patterns as the blue uniforms that the Discovery people have been wearing. And so it's not much of a leap from that. So, not doing that well. And then, of course, through the trailer, you realize Captain Pike changes into one of the blue suits. So that's just probably in the first episode, and then it's gone. Although there was a scene that looked like Michael Burnham was in one of the blue skirts. So I don't know. Maybe they go back and forth. I don't know. Or they transition out of the blue jumpsuits. But what have you. All of it, of course, is completely out of continuity, and that remains the ultimate sin of Star Trek Discovery. And how they didn't see how that would be a problem, I don't know. Have you been paying attention to Star Trek fandom over the past few decades? I mean, you get a door wrong and somebody's upset. But this, oh boy. So the problem with Pike coming in is that it reminds the audience of what a real Star Trek prequel should have been about. The one thing that might have really garnered interest and whatnot would be the adventures of Captain Pike. But that's not really what you're going to get. And it's just as well because this team has proven incapable of delivering good Star Trek. There was only like one episode in the previous season that was reminiscent of Star Trek as far as plot and stuff goes when, the Doug Jones character Saru went crazy, that sort of thing. And that's about it. Most of it was pretty lackluster and bland and just really bad and plot holes everywhere and blatantly obvious twist and just one slap and damaging plot to the old continuity over and over again. And so bringing in any more classic characters was like, oh God, what are they going to do? And so the whole thing is terrible. The only saving grace would have been some sort of time warp thing that either corrected it or explained that this was yet another offshoot. But they didn't. They kept saying, no, it's Prime, and there's just no way it works. And so This won't do any better. In fact, it'll just probably make it worse, oddly enough. Now, the episodes might have cool plots in them, and maybe they come up with some interesting ideas, and it makes for a show that would have been good if it was called something else and had nothing to do with Star Trek. Because, I mean, the look of it's great. The special effects are top-notch and fantastic. Probably better than any sci-fi show ever. The cinematography is fantastic, and on and on and on. But it's not Star Trek, and you can't. It doesn't matter how much you pretty it. It's a case of all icing and no cake, and that was the case for the series. Because even if it, even if it was accurate, even if they had done the homework and got it to fit, boy, the writing was terrible. It just, but and plus, there's the other thing. The problem for it is. They apparently stole the plot of the tardigrades from some guy developing a video game. So that's a big hole there. That's a problem of dogging on this to just, oh man, talk about insult to injury. So even if you corrected a lot of the problems, you'd still have that. So what they should have done with this, if this is what they wanted it to look like this. They wanted the special effects to be on par, and the technology of the ships to be so advanced looking like they are in the show. They should have just set it in the distant future. It's beyond the Picard era, it's that far away, and everything would fit, just about everything. It wouldn't solve you're stealing the plot from a video game. No, you'd have to come up with something else. But the look of the ship, the look of the uniforms, even the Klingons looking different. You could have come up with some story that there was some kind of mutation that happened, or what have you, or this is an offshoot of them. All that sort of thing, and you've got this whole new universe to play in that no one can tell you, no, that's not how it happens, because the stars are the limit. And that's what they could have done. And the likelihood that you would have damaged continuity was very minimal at best. I suppose if they wanted to connect it to the Spock family, Burnham could have had some relationship to the family, be a distant, or descended or something like that. But why not just put some ears on her, but what have you, that'd be about it. And then you go forward with your own show, free of the limitations. When you do prequels, there's limitations all over the place. It doesn't make it impossible to do interesting stories and clever ideas and something new, but there are those boundaries and limitations and whatnot. And so it was best not to even try that, and should have said it in the future. There'd already been a prequel. It was Enterprise, and well, yeah, there was problems there. It doesn't deserve the hatred it gets, but there were some serious problems there. But this makes Enterprise look like a masterpiece. So it's a shame that we might have to watch. If you're going to watch it, I'm seriously debating. I'll have to wait and see some reviews from people I respect before I give it a shot. I don't know. That's going to be hard to do. But the real pain would be to watch what are they going to do to Pike and Spock. Oh, no. I just don't think there's any saving this. And hopefully this is the end of Star Trek Discovery, and they'll move on to something else. But boy, it's sounding like their next victim will be Picard. So, oh boy. So it's a strange time we live in, when all these beloved franchises are just going out of their way to almost commit suicide here. It's bizarre. You had Star Wars, and then Star Trek, and Doctor Who is just destroying itself. What's next, So probably shouldn't ask. Oh, well, there you go. Star Trek Discovery with Captain Pike. Boy. Thank you for watching and listening. And hey, while you're here, why not like and subscribe, and check out the link description below. That'll take you to my many stores that have many, many goodies for you.